Hey everyone, Coach Mindy here. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about sleep and how important it is to be mindful about your sleep. There's something that I've used for a while now that I may be able to teach you in hopes that if you are struggling with sleep or if you're away from home and you're in an unfamiliar, sleeping space and you're having a hard time getting those Z's, you can try this too. So let me back up a little bit. The first time I went to Nicaragua, I was not prepared for the elements. I was there on a mission trip and we were staying in a really old mission house, and the heat was really hard. Not being able to drink the water was really hard. And then, like the bugs. In my room, we had a tarantula in our shower. We had a scorpion on someone's pillow. And I just wasn't prepared for that. And it really brought out my fears. So, after 3 nights of not sleeping, because all I could hear was scampering in the ceiling above me, so I knew there was something or things up there. And I could not sleep. It was the worst because then we'd be out in the heat all day and, doing things that were emotionally and physically taxing. And I was exhausted and at my breaking point. And so I went to another man who was along with us on the trip, who just happens to be a psychologist. And I said, is there anything you can do to help me? Can you give me some advice? I'm not sleeping and it's affecting my trip and I'm no longer enjoying this trip. And he asked me to think about the most comfortable, safest place in my house. And I told him it was my bed. And then he said, I want you to think about what that space looks like. What does it feel like? What's under your skin? Do you feel your sheets? Do you feel your blankets on you? What does it smell like? And what does it sound like? And he kind of went through all the senses. And he said, now I want you to pinch your leg. So I did. And I want you to think about those things. Okay. And then he said, tonight when you're in bed and you're having a hard time falling asleep, he said, I again want you to pinch your leg and I want you to think about your sleeping space at home. And I want you to pay attention because you will find comfort as you're thinking about and imagining your bed at home. And I thought, oh, this is never going to work. This is crazy. But sure enough, that night, couldn't fall asleep. So I pinched my leg. And while I was pinching my leg and feeling that, I started thinking about my bed at home. And I started thinking about the flannel sheets that I love in the wintertime and the smell of my husband and hearing the ocean sounds coming from my kids' rooms down the hall because that's what they sleep to. And I definitely felt a sense of relief. And I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I did it again. And I've actually used that same imagery when I've been in hotels or when I've been in someone else's house, and not necessarily really uncomfortable or scared, but just when I can't sleep. I start to imagine my safe and my comfortable place in my own house where I can get my best sleep, and it works. So that's something I want you to start thinking about. Is there something in your house, a space that makes you comfortable, where you get your best sleep? And I want you to use your senses and start to pull those details out. You can pinch your leg while you're doing it. I'm not exactly sure what that had to do with it, but when you are somewhere else and you can't sleep, you can pinch your leg and you can think about and imagine your space. And it helps. I promise you that it helps. Sleep is so important, and we want to make sure that we are using all the tools in our toolbox to help us get the best sleep because it really truly affects so many areas of our life. So yeah, I hope that is helpful to you and gives you a new idea and a new tool for your toolbox. All right, ladies, thanks for listening.